Hello and welcome back to another painting video. Today we are going to be painting High Marshal Helbrecht for our Black Templars army. His armor is gold, unlike the rest of these guys that we've been painting. Their armor is black. But we have to do some prep work first. So we're going to start with a dry brush of a dark gray over all of the black areas, which is going to be the cloak. I've mostly painted them my own kind of color scheme. I mean, like with the cloaks being red and instead of white and all that kind of stuff. But for these guys, for this guy, I am going to be painting him like the box art as best as I can, because he is the High Marshal, so his uniform probably wouldn't be specialized for whatever. I don't know, you can use whatever logic you want in this situation to justify your decisions. But so this is what I want to do. I think he'll look cool painted how he's supposed to be painted. Not supposed to be painted, but like, you know, how according to the box art. So we're just getting our gray, and I hope it kind of comes through on the thing. I know it doesn't super do it great, but it is a different shade of black. That's all we're trying to do, is just kind of break up the color a little bit, add some variety to it, because black in itself is just a very plain color unless you do stuff to it. So we're going to get blue-gray and do the same thing. We're going to dry brush this on. And then for this one, we're just going to kind of mostly get the high points. With a lighter dry brush. So that's kind of where we're gonna leave that for now. If you seen my Friday update YouTube shorts, or what's that thing called, TikTok videos, you can see that I just put the gun in his hand instead of having all the servitors around it, mostly because I didn't want to paint a bunch of servitors, but also because I think he's a big boy, he can do it himself. So now we're gonna get a medium sea gray. And we're going to use this to kind of dry brush the armor, because the gold we use, if you remember, is a speed paint. So we want a nice light base, or base that we can use for transitions of colors and highlights and stuff like that. So just get most of this wiped off here. And then we'll I don't know if this brush is, I think we might have to get a different brush because this one might be too wet, because we've used it already. And it might be better to use a smaller brush anyway. So let me flip this guy over. It's really like that? Sorry about this. I'm just kind of going through my bad brushes here to get a suitable dry brush candidate. It's not going to be a complete disaster on the model. And the good thing about this speed paint is that it does go over black. So it's going to be pretty good. But we do want pretty decent coverage. So just get in there, get on those spots. This is going to be helpful for the face a lot because it does have a white cross on it. So it's going to help us when we paint that. Same thing here, get the idol and or whatever it's called. I don't really know what it's called. Where did I put the gray? You ever lose your paint on your palette? And you're just like, what happened to it? So we're just kind of dry brushing the whole metallic bits of this guy, getting him nice and prepped for contrast paint. You can now do some white and do the same thing, just even lighter. This will give us kind of some highlights when we put the paint over. When it's transparent, you'll see like the mid-tone of the gray, and you'll see the highlight of the white. At least hopefully that's the plan anyway. That's what we're going for. Let's paint the sword. The helmet, get the top of the piece here because this is the high spots. We can hit this a little extra with the white because that's where the light would show the most. Be careful because you don't want to break the model. So now you should have kind of like a stone wash look on the model. So now we can go into the speed paint, which is this Hope Light Gold from Army Painter. It's what I've been using. I think it's pretty good. Or I don't have any complaints about it. It's a darker gold. And you could use a different color if you want. His armor is kind of ambiguously gold. It's a bunch of different colors. Excuse me. It is a very dark gold color. So, or like bronze color, so you can get away with anything you want. You can paint him pink if you want also. Do that if you want to. Not against any of that. If you want to paint him just like a Black Templar too, paint him like a Black Templar. Paint his armor black. There's no rule to how you have to paint your guy, except that there needs to be 3 colors. That's only for tournaments too though, by the way. So if you're just playing at home with friends or whatever, you don't need to have 3 colors. You can just have 1 color. So don't let anyone tell you what to do with your models. Unless you want some advice, then take it. But if you don't, then shun the non-believers. I think this gold looks pretty cool. It's like a nice antique looking gold color. And I hope the work that we did is coming through. I mean, if not, we can always do some highlights and stuff at the end with some actual paint. Not that this isn't actual paint, but you know what I mean, like some actual like high pigmented paint. Let's get his belt buckle. It's got a little side plate here too as well, so just get that. And we're gonna get the top part here. We're gonna start working on the shoulder pad here. This is my first time using this paint in like a large area. It's usually just done for the eagles and stuff on the armor. It's usually what I use it for, but we'll see how it works on an entire model. And like I said earlier, we're doing the face, that there's a white cross in the middle, so that highlighting before, excuse me, helped us out here. And just maneuver around where you can, trying to avoid the cross. We are going to be going in with a white on it, but you know, as little gold as we can get on it now, the better it's going to help us later. Okay. Now we can get the armor here. And this is good too, because we did all that dry brushing and stuff before, that the undersuit part is left black and it has some texture and stuff to it, so it looks like we did everything on purpose. Which is all you really need to do, is just at least pretend, make it look like that you knew what you were doing when you did it, and then everything's good from there. The shoulder pad itself is white, so let's get, is his arm metal? Is his arm, does he have a robot arm? It looks like he has a robot arm. I don't know the lore. I'm not really into the lore of this. I just like the model, I like the games. I don't need to know some stories, because I make my own stories, right? With my guys fighting whoever they need to. And I know it's for the Emperor. Like, I at least know that much. And that's enough for me. That's enough lore for me to get through. Paint his power pack here. Like, I know some lore, but it's not like I read it anywhere. It's just, you know, if it's all secondhand lore. And I feel like a lot of people are that way too. It's just a lot of secondhand lore that you get from, you know, like games or other people that play that maybe care more about than you about the lore. But you don't gotta know the lore to play the game and have fun. This is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, it is a game. So we're here to have fun and play the game. So let's get the armor there, and then his hand and the gold. Anything else? What else am I missing? I'm trying to look at the reference here and there and see where, but you know what, it's this whole thing is gold. Is the skull on it gold as well? It is. So we're just goldifying the blade. Okay, we also have this little thing on the skull here. This iron halo looking thing. With the eye, the eye shackles as well, and the jaw. Let's get the back side now. And then I like to do the barrels of my meltas are also gold. Especially his is like a named one, so like his make extra special sense that it would be fancy. So that's all our gold. Now we'll go to the red, which we start with this dark vermilion color. And for the red, that is used on the underside, the inside of his cape. And this stuff right here. So what we're gonna do is just check our reference to see where it is. And we're gonna make our way in there. With our nice thin paint. Goes up to there. It looks like this wrapping is also red. The cross on his chest is red. And for these, he's got some like triangle action on there. This guy, the bottom part of it is red. Just being careful here, try not to hit the gold spots. Then over here, we're gonna get those eyes. Like that. And then I'm going to continue into the cape here. So this is where it's folded over here. And we can just follow the fold. And kind of like I said in some of my other videos, you just want to keep those brush strokes going the same direction. So if we're going down vertically, we want to keep them all going vertically. Just so that if there is any brush strokes or texture left, then it looks like texture. Then for here, we're gonna get, it's like the top of this one, right here. So we just got the top there. While we're here on this side of the model, we also get the casing of our gun here, our blaster, our special combi weapon. Just be careful in there. You want to avoid those gold spots. It's very dry here today, so my paint's drying up pretty quick. Now we go to this side. We want to get the wraps of the sword. All my wraps are red. His is no different. Even if I wasn't painting him box colors, even if I am painting him box colors, I think they do it red anyway, but even if they didn't, that's what color they are. Okay, now we can get the inside of the cloak on this side. And just get what you can see. You don't gotta build it in sub-assemblies and then get the cape separate For one, the model isn't built that way, so you can't really do that if you wanted to. And these are actually red on him. Some of them, not all of them, but these ones. Oh no, these ones aren't. Lied. But the seal is, so get that wax seal. While we're here, there was another one. Oh, these ones right here on his leg. You want to get those as well. Get those wax seals. Why does it look like it's red there? Oh, it's that one. It's this one is red. You know, and do your best to interpret it. If you're trying to do the box art, you know, you might not be able to find all the spots where things are certain colors. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it is art, right? At the end of the day, it's art because you're painting this thing by hand. It's not some other thing that's doing this art for you, right? So that's the one thing about like hobbies is that, you know, people say, why do you do this? Such a waste of time, right? Like, and like lots of people, they watch TV, etc., right? Like at the end of the day, when they're watching TV, you don't have anything to show for it. Which, like, don't get me wrong, like, I watch a shitload of TV, like, I'm not judging anyone. But for this hobby at least, at the end of the day, what you have to show for it is a lot of art. You have a lot of painted miniatures. Now, if you're just building them and leaving them gray, maybe that's another story, right? That's maybe not so much, but it still takes time to build it. You're still learning something while you're doing it. So that's a cool little drop of knowledge for you guys if you need help justifying this to yourself or others, you know. There you go. But also if you feel the need that you have to justify this to other people, maybe don't hang out with those people. Okay, we're almost done with all this red. The candles on him are red as well, so we're gonna get those. Okay, and I think that's all of the red. I think. Let me just do one last little look at everything. I think if we're gonna do the shields like this, we're just gonna put the little triangle on this shield as well. And then we can move on. One thing I did just notice that the skull on his knee right here is also gold, so we'll leave that. We'll paint that gold really quick while it's still active on my palette here. Okay, well now let's work on some leather. Actually, let's start dark. Let's start with like a whole red. This is a really like rusty brown color. It's good for like World War II miniatures if you're doing like the Fallschirmjägers and stuff like that from World War II. It's a good color for their camo. So let's just get some brown painted on here. Let's make sure we thin it because that was way too much brown. We got our nice stiff brush here. It's able to do a lot of work for us with very little effort, which is good. It's always good. I don't think there's going to be any more brown though, because that was it. So let's just make sure we get that nice and clean. And I think here, actually, let's get some of this gold and get the blade of this like sword medallion thing that's going on here. This relic that he has on him. And we're gonna get the rest of this like wrap that's on here. Okay. And I did a really bad job of the gold here. Why didn't you guys tell me to get that, huh? You guys are supposed to be telling me what to do. Okay, now we're gonna go to gunmetal for our silvers. And for this, it's gonna go on all the chains. And a lot of these like secondary relics and stuff that we have. It's gonna give us some nice shinies. We like nice shinies. And we're gonna take to this bolt gun here. Or not a bolt gun. I forget what the name of his weapon's called. What else here? We got this. We got this little gas block here. I'll get the bullets in there as well and indicate the thing. I think this should be silver as well. I could be wrong. And we're gonna get the top of that, the front of the magazine here. Also want to get the sight and the rail. So just continue to pull these colors into the other side. That we can see again, because this is very tight in here. I think what we can do here is we can clean up some of this. We have some gold that we can add to that to give it a little extra. Little spot we missed there. So we can just go over that. And then where did we put our black at? Did that dry out already? Jeez. So we'll take our dark gray here. Just put some down really quick just to give us something to clean up with. And it's gonna be like right here around there. And then like especially like And here we want to clean up as well any spillover to our blacks. Sit over on the shoulder pad because that's going to have a lot of stuff. Okay. So now, well, actually we can take this dark gray and put it into the sigil here. There we go. Gonna go back into our gunmetal. Sorry, I got distracted as I do. We're gonna get this chain and like this whole hand. His hand is a robot. Or it looks like his hand's a robot. So that's how we're gonna paint it. It's okay if we get a little bit on the red because we have other reds to go through still, so it's not gonna damage anything. And then want this one. These guys aren't having a great day. And then the little carrier up here of these candles, these candelabra. This hellish candelabra. Cool. And then we do our power packs here. Oh, I didn't paint that gold at all. Or did it just dry off? We do this on them, and then the insides here with the gunmetal as well. Let's put some more gold down really quick just to get the top here that apparently I decided not to do for whatever reason. Here we go. Now we can go into the whites with just a matte white. And I know I said we could try to do 3 colors with everything, but you know, white's just one of those colors where, I mean, you could put like a tan underneath it if I wanted to, but I think I like how it turns out. Without it. So, you know, you can always, and that's the thing about painting, right? You can always change it later. You don't have to do it all now. And I'm not painting so thick that, you know, anything that I do is permanent. It's all easy to change with just another coat of primer. And that's it. Or in some cases you don't even need to prime it, you can just paint over it with a different color. So there's that. Trying to be very purposeful here, that this is white. But I don't need to you don't have to overkill it. You can just put some white there and be done. Because then it still reads as white. And then you're not risking the whole model's paint job for that. But you know what? We actually forgot to paint the entirety of the sword blade there. It's fine. We'll go back to the color. These shoulder pads I've found need a couple coats just because the surface is all it's all sorts of colors and oops. Not colors, but shape. It's just a big round ball that we're trying to move paint on. The good thing is, whatever we hit on the gold, when we go to put new gold over the top of it, that gold will just be brighter, like a highlight, so it'll work for us. And let's get these skulls painted white. That's fine. Okay, now we can go back to the metallic while that's drying. If I can find out where I put it on the palette. Is that it? Nope. Just doing little pokes. Is this it? Nope. Just poking at it to find out where it was, but I think it either dried or I used it all. So this is the same kind of idea as we did for the cape. You just want to paint in the same direction so that it's just consistent. It looks like texture in the end, even though you could argue that there's not supposed to be texture in swords. But you know, maybe it's grody from battle. Maybe he's killed a lot of orcs and Tau and all other sorts of Xeno scum. So now let's get into the German Camo Beige for the purity seals. So now we're gonna hunt for purity seals. Here's the ones that we painted earlier with the red. So just going through those. And then these ones on his leg. I found out that these ones that don't have the seal on it are called pennants. I don't know the difference, so sue me. I'm gonna take some of this, just put it in there to give that separation. Okay, now we're gonna go into a scarlet color for the reds. This is our like a layer color. We're just gonna kind of water it down and kind of gently bring it into the red that we've already done. Gonna give a little pop and also give us a little bit of differentiation in the reds that we have going on. Now I probably won't attempt it on that star just because it's too close to the white. You know, like we could just redo the white, right? It's not, the white doesn't have any layers or anything on it, so we could just do that, but you know, I don't know yet. Let's just get this. So I was originally thinking about doing this like inverse colors, so like the majority of his cape would be black, and then the inside would be, I mean red, and the inside would be black. Just a little kind of take a thing and turn it on its head kind of situation. But ultimately I decided to go with the Codex color for him. Just, he's cool. He deserves to be in the colors he earned. That's how I'm phrasing it anyway. We'll definitely have to clean up the back, the black and the back, but for now, let's just get this scarlet kind of added into all the reds. And as it dries, it'll be thinner. Let me go there. Switch to the back here. And just paint our scarlet into all of the little flat areas here, trying to avoid the little nooks and crannies. You don't need to get into there. Remember when I said we go back into the reds This is that time. And for the gun, we can just kind of go on the edges a bit, go inside there. Just give them a little pop. And go back into those eyes. Doing the same thing. We can probably get the top of this. Let's at least do that for him, huh? I think that's all the reds. Now let's go into a leather brown for that belt. And just kind of get the middles of those. Now we'll go back into our white, our matte white. I know it just said shake well, but it's matte white. This one looks pretty good. It's just the shoulder pad I think that we need to work on. So let's just, it's a little chalky. Wanna get some nice paint in there. That'll probably do on that. And then we have that dark gray that's still on our palette. So we can go through here and just fix any of that that might have come through there that we did not want it to. And then we'll go back onto the sigil here, and we're just gonna redefine it. It's still a little wet, so might have to redo it again. Yeah, let's just wait for that white to dry. The white's a little crazy right now. Let's just, oh God, we're making it worse. So usually that's what happens when you try to fix paint. You end up making it worse. So maybe just take a step back for a second. We're going to tan yellow now for the purity seals. And then we're just gonna kind of get the tops of them, the edges, and maybe some, we'll kind of do like what we did with the red ones. So we're just kind of texturing through it, leaving the dark spots to be that, and then the lighter spots to be the new color. Do you have some little nail here on the pennants that I want to put in? And then we can get some of this squid pink here, just for like a little teeny highlight on the red. You don't want too much because it is pink. You can even mix it with a little bit of the red to make it not as pink. But pink is a decent highlight. And we can just kind of get the lips of the candles here. The wax of the candle. And we'll probably just leave that at that. Maybe we can do like a little edge here and there. There's a couple edges here. Just give it the illusion of light. Can also go just on the tops of the purity seals here. Okay, let's go back into our gold for a second and clean up this shoulder pad. Because now that we've put all that white on it, we've gone into some areas that we don't want to have white on them. So just make sure that's clean. This little bar in there, and then the skull in the middle. And then now that white's dry enough to where we can get this black. And just do a little cleanup. And definitely this is the spot, the part that I need the most work on is cleaning up these little areas. Because those are what's gonna, that's where you get into, like when you get into the super details is where it starts to kind of crumble for me. Because I do have like those super shaky hands and insert excuse here, you know, all that kind of stuff. But you still get it done. Okay. Now we can do a wash of some Agrax Old Earthshade on the metallics. It's gonna give them a nice brown tone, more used look to them. It's also gonna help with some of the details a bit here. I think washing the browns here helps as well, the belts. Just get that. The chain here, especially get his hand and arm because it is like a giant metal arm situation. The chains here, get the skulls as well. We're gonna get the candelabra on the top here and the skull. Make sure we're getting that skull. I missed the chain on the back here. See what happens when you get distracted? You just miss whole things. Let's get that cleaned up too while we're here. I noticed that earlier. So then let's get this candelabra, get the skull up here. Get this chain, and we can even get like this like whole neck area just because it is kind of inside. Let's get the gun, soak up some of that. Just get the metallics here. We're just getting the metallics. And we're gonna take some on our smaller brush here and just get it in those little breather holes that he's got going on in here. Just kind of shade the bottom of his helmet so you can see those nice crazy teeth in there. And then, we leave the blade kind of shiny. We do take this Athletic Blue contrast paint, and we do put it on the, like the coil for the power sword part, like that. So that'll dry like a nice little glow for us. You can even kind of push it in a little bit. And then we want some of this, I think this is deep sky blue that we've been using. And we just get it on our little brush here. And then we put it into the lantern to make it glow. Like that. Let me get this really quick. Let me make sure that the chest is looking really good. Cool, and that is how we paint High Marshal Helbrecht for our army. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And then we'll catch you guys on the next one.